Y'all ever seen a grown man fold like a lawn chair after reading a letter? No. Well, grab your tissues and your tea because Khadiyah, KD Lewis, just turned young jock yes. Mr. Hair Evolution, Mr. 8 Baby Mamas, and a barbershop confessional int, a puddle of emotional wreckage with nothing but ink, paper, and a heartbreak that hits harder than a love and hip-hop reunion slap. Now, hold up. What if I told you this wasn't just any old love letter? What if I told you KD's final note didn't just expose unspoken love, it uncovered secrets Jock never wanted the world to know? What if the very letter that broke him also exposed a second man, a secret lover, a quiet affair, a wedding dress in the attic, y'all, and a flash drive with a video so raw, even the editor cried? Why did Jock wait until KD's funeral to read it? Why was this letter hidden for years? And who the hell is Marcus D? Buckle up, because this ain't just a love letter. This is a posthumous plot twist, and it's about to shake hip-hop history to the core. Let's get into it. Let's rewind, because before the envelope, before the flash drive, before the tears hit Jock's rhinestone-stitched collar, there was Khadiyah. Not some ex, not one of many, but the one. The woman who stood 10 toes down while Jock danced his way through more scandals than a Bravo reunion meltdown. Khadiyah KD Lewis wasn't just Jock's past, she was the quiet storm behind his chaos. The woman who rode for him in silence while he rode the wave of fame like a man with no GPS and 8 baby seats in the back. And don't get it twisted, this wasn't some background character in Jock's circus of drama. KD was the blueprint, the backbone, the chess master who never once stepped into the mess but still cleaned it up every time he dragged it through the front door. While Jock was busy acting like the Hood's Steve Harvey with a microphone and a bad fade, KD was signing contracts, paying bills, and dodging DMs from women who didn't even know Jock's real name. But what did she get in return? Side eyes, secrets, silent heartbreak, the kind of betrayal that doesn't make headlines but leaves bruises on your spirit. It's 2014. Jock is halfway hot again in the club scene. Pretending It's Going Down is still topping charts, and KD, she's right there handling venues, booking appearances, making sure his baby mama number 4 doesn't show up at the same time as number 6. And still, she never tried to steal the spotlight. No Twitter beefs, no exposes, no bitter Instagram rants with sad song lyrics in the background. Just quiet loyalty. But behind that loyalty was a woman slowly being erased. While Jock was hopping between women like a DJ, skip songs when the crowd ain't feeling it, KD was absorbing it all. Silent, strategic, strong. Until one day, she wasn't. She walked away. No noise, no drama, no reality TV finale, just vanished. And while everyone thought she dipped because she was over it, the truth was deeper. She wasn't over it. Not even close. She loved him, quietly, deeply, even after the mess. Even after the embarrassment. Even after the disrespect. And Jock, he wasn't over her either. Word on the street is, even after KD walked away, Jock was still sending her flowers every birthday. Texting her from burner phones just to say he was proud. KD would open his stories on a secret account, never like, never comment, just watching, from a distance, like two people frozen in time, separated by ego, mistakes, and all the things they never said out loud. It got so bad Jock allegedly bought a ring in 2018. Yes, a ring. Diamond heavy, custom cut, ready to fix the one mistake he knew he'd never stop regretting. He told a close friend, "I'm flying to Houston, I'm making this right." But he never boarded that flight. 3 days before, he ghosted his own plans. Cold feet. Maybe. Or maybe he realized too late that KD wasn't just the one that got away, she was the one he pushed away. And what did KD do? She stayed quiet. Again, but silence doesn't mean peace. In early 2024, KD was diagnosed with a rare illness. She didn't post. She didn't cry online. She didn't ask for support. She just began writing. Not to vent, not to expose, but to say goodbye on her terms. Letters, dozens of them, each one written to someone who touched her. Life in real ways. Family, friends, and yes, him, Jock, the man who broke her, loved her, ignored her, remembered her. And that's where everything changed. Because this letter, this black envelope with his government name Jaziel Jock Robinson, was never meant to go viral. It wasn't a PR stunt or a last-minute grab for attention. It was sealed, taped, hidden in a box marked private. But when KD's brother was going through her belongings after the funeral, he found it, thought it was a will, opened it, saw the name, and froze. Because the contents weren't instructions or finances or cold business. It was heat, emotion, truth, raw, handwritten heartbreak poured onto paper. A confession that read like a diary and hit like a grenade. The first line, "I always loved you. I just never knew how to show it." That sentence alone sent Twitter into a meltdown. TikTok turned it into a crying trend within hours. Facebook aunties were reposting it like scripture. Everyone felt it because everyone saw themselves in it. This wasn't just Katie's pain, it was every woman's unspoken truth, every man's silent regret, every failed love story that never got closure. And Jockey read it, and he broke. Not cried, not teared up, broke. Collapsed in the studio. No lights, no cameras, just a man, and a letter that said everything he ran from. Sources say he didn't speak for hours. Just sat there, rereading it like he was trying to rewind time through the ink. And then there was more. Because inside that same box was a flash drive, tiny, silver, taped with a note that simply said, "Only press play when you're ready to know everything." He didn't press play that day. Or the next. Or the next. It took him 3 full days before he could even touch it. And when he finally did, what he saw made the letter look like a warm-up act. The screen faded in, no filter, no glam. Just KD, no makeup, hair tied back, a hoodie, a quiet room, and eyes full of years she never said out loud. She looked straight into the camera, and she started speaking, her voice, soft, calm, a little cracked, but peaceful, like she knew this was her ending and she was finally in control of how it would go down. She said, "If you're watching this, I'm gone. And you finally opened the box. I was afraid you never would." Jock reportedly stopped breathing for a second, because this wasn't some scripted love and hip-hop confessional. This was real. The realest goodbye he never saw coming. Then came the line that stopped the internet cold. "You were the love of my life, but you were never mine." And with that, the world went still. Comments froze. Fans sat in silence. Because KD didn't just write a love letter, she wrote a eulogy for a relationship that never got to live. A final goodbye wrapped in every moment Jock took for granted. She spoke of patching him up after every heartbreak, wiping tears he never knew she saw, loving him while watching him love everyone else. But she never cursed him, never blamed him. She said, "This isn't guilt. This isn't revenge. I'm not haunting you. I'm releasing you. Don't chase ghosts. Jock, don't rewrite what was just live." And while the world was still catching its breath from that video, from those final words that felt like both a slap and a prayer, something else started to surface. Because just when people thought they understood the whole story, man hurts woman, woman dies with love in her heart, it flipped again. The internet had barely recovered from Katie's haunting line, "You were the love of my life, but you were never mine," when out of nowhere, a tweet hit the timeline like a grenade, from Katie's cousin Tamara. One sentence, no context, no follow-up, just this: "Y'all acting like Jock was the only one she wrote to." 5 seconds. That's all it took. Suddenly, everyone turned into armchair detectives, pulling screenshots, digging up old photos, analyzing Katie's final public appearances like they were reading the Rosetta Stone of heartbreak. Because that tweet meant one thing: there was someone else, another letter, another man. And just like that, Jock wasn't the only one grieving. Turns out, Katie had been living a love story on 2 tracks. Jock wasn't her only heartbreak. He was just the loud one. The public one. The one with Instagram scandals and hair transformations. But there was another. A quieter man. A softer presence. One the internet had almost missed. Until they didn't. In a now viral journal entry found by Katie's family and quietly leaked online, she wrote, "You were my wild love. He was my soft love." And just like that, the conversation shifted, because people realized Jock might have had her chaos, but someone else had her calm. Enter Marcus D. No last name, no public footprint. Just a few clues and one resurfaced photo from 2021. KD at a candlelit dinner. No captions, no location tags, just her, smiling soft, across the table from a man with a peaceful face. Not a rapper, not a reality star, just a man. That picture didn't get much attention when it first dropped. People assumed it was a work dinner or one of Katie's clients. But now, every pixel of that photo was under a microscope. And Marcus, he wasn't saying a word. While Jock collapsed under the weight of a letter he waited too long to read, Marcus stayed quiet. No interviews, no lives, no cryptic posts. Until one day, Without warning, he updated his Instagram bio to 5 words. I already loved her through it. That was it. No name drop, no pity party, no self-insertion, just a quiet confirmation that Katie's soft love was real. That while Jock was chasing moments and missing meaning, Marcus had been loving her the whole time, not with grand gestures, not with chaos, but with presence. Fans were torn. Some rushed to Jock's defense, saying he was the true soulmate, the one KD had always been drawn to. Others stood for Marcus, the man who didn't need to be loud to be real, but KD's words in that journal said it best. I never stopped loving either of them, but only one of them gave me peace, and that's when it really got messy. Because hidden beneath the letter, beneath the video, beneath the candlelight dinners and silent glances, was something no one saw coming. A custom wedding dress, discovered by her sister, tucked away in the attic, inside a garment bag labeled simply, Hope. It wasn't for a wedding that had happened. There was no engagement, no date, no venue. But the dress, it was real, custom-made, untouched, designed in 2019. And inside the box, folded next to the veil, was a handwritten note on a small card that read, If he ever comes back, I want to be ready. That one sentence undid everyone, because it wasn't addressed to Jock or Marcus. It wasn't labeled, it wasn't clarified. It just existed. A symbol of a love story she kept alive long after it stopped breathing. Not because she was stuck in the past, but because she believed, somewhere deep in her spirit, that maybe, just maybe he'd show up, and that's the part that shattered the internet. Because KD didn't wait publicly. She didn't post still single selfies or passive-aggressively quote Maya Angelou. She waited in silence. She lived her life, handled her business, smiled in every photo. But privately, she kept a dress for a moment that might never happen. And Jock, when he found out about the dress, insiders say he went completely still, just sat in the studio, blinking, said nothing, did nothing, just held the note in his hands for over an hour. According to a close friend, he whispered, she was still waiting, even after all that, and I didn't show up. But here's the twist, because just when the timeline was split down the middle, debating Jock versus Marcus, a new voice surfaced. Not from the men. From Katie's best friend, Nina, who hadn't spoken publicly until now. She posted a throwback photo of Katie at a bridal, fitting, smiling, glowing, and her caption. She never told us who the dress was for. She just said, if the door ever opens again, I want to be ready to walk through it. And that right there is what made this more than a breakup story. This wasn't about a love triangle. This wasn't about two men fighting for a woman. This was about a woman who made peace with never being chosen but left room for the possibility anyway. And what makes it even more haunting is that KD's letter to Jock, while emotional and raw, never once asked for a second chance. She never begged. She never shamed. She simply said, I thought we had more time. I've been loving you in silence since the day I walked away. Meanwhile, her absence said more than any reunion scene could. She didn't air him out. She didn't drop names. She let the letter speak. She let the flash drive play. And she let the dress wait. And Marcus, he could have gone public, could have claimed her memory, could have turned this into a redemption arc of his own. But he didn't. He stayed quiet. Until one final photo. Just days after the story went viral, Marcus posted a black and white shot of Katie's favorite reading nook. A single candle burning, her mug still on the table. His caption, peace isn't loud, but it lasts. That was it. No further comment. No explanation. And somehow, that said more than anything Jock had screamed, sung, or posted in years. Because in the end, KD didn't belong to drama or peace. She didn't belong to Jock or Marcus. She belonged to herself. She chose to love in silence. She chose to forgive in private. And she chose to walk away with grace. Even when grace wasn't given to her. And for the first time the internet wasn't arguing. It was listening. Because KD had managed to do something no one else on reality TV ever could. She told her truth, without spectacle. She bared her heart without blame. And she left a legacy that was too quiet to trend until it was too late to answer. And while the dust hadn't even begun to settle, while timelines were still flooded with crying gifs and reshared quotes from KD's letter and Marcus's one-line poetry, something else surfaced. Something so quiet, so final, that even the most cynical fans paused. Because Jock, the man who once turned every breakup into a punchline, had gone radio silent. Not just quiet on Instagram. Gone. No walkthroughs. No interviews. No club appearances. just disappeared into the background, like a ghost with a guilty heart. That's when the rumors started flying. Sources from inside jock circles started whispering that he wasn't just mourning, he was creating, but not in the usual young jock drop a single, start a scandal kind of way. No gimmicks, no producers, with gimmicky beats. Word was, Jock had locked himself in the studio and was working on a tribute album. Not for the fans, not for charts. For her, for KD, the woman he lost, long before he ever realized she was gone. And it wasn't just some mixtape with sad lyrics and recycled apologies. This was different, raw, unfiltered. No ghostwriters, no label pressure, just a man and his regrets, trying to turn pain into something that might resemble peace. An engineer from the studio allegedly leaked a voice note where Jock walks into the booth and says, "This ain't for the radio. This ain't for TikTok. This is for the one who stayed when I didn't deserve it." That sentence alone turned a quiet rumor into a public obsession. Fans began speculating about track titles. What would he call it? What would he say? Would he mention Marcus? Would he tell the truth? Then someone close to his camp claimed the album had a name. Black Envelope. Just like the letter. Just like the one she left for him. And that's when it became clear. This wasn't about Jock trying to make a comeback. It was about closure. Alleged track titles started leaking. She Waited. Attic Dust. The Dress. Soft Love. Wild Love Interlude. And the gut-wrenching Closer. If I'd Stayed, that one hit different, because fans knew that was the story in one sentence. The what if that haunted Jock every time he tried to sleep. If he had stayed, if he had chosen her sooner, if he had opened the letter before it was too late. But here's the twist: Jock still hadn't spoken. No interviews, no captions, no teaser clips. Just one blurry photo posted to his Instagram story. A crumpled notebook page, no filter, barely legible, handwriting. At the top, one line: "You whispered while I shouted. You waited while I wandered. And now I wait in silence." The internet broke. Not because it was a polished rollout. Not because it was smart marketing. But because it felt real. No embellishment, no drama. Just a man who knew he messed up and didn't expect forgiveness. And in a world where everyone weaponizes vulnerability for attention, Jock's silence hit harder than any apology video ever could. But of course, the internet couldn't stay calm for long. With every new discovery, came more debates. Could someone truly love two people at once? Was KD wrong for never choosing? Or was she the only one who understood that sometimes love isn't clean, or clear, or easy to explain? Then came the comment that split the fanbase like a fault line. It showed up under one of Marcus's rare posts. A quiet photo of KD's favorite teacup, still sitting where she left it. The comment read, "Marcus had her peace. Jock had her chaos. But both of them had her heart. And she had none of theirs when it counted." That single sentence was reposted more than 200,000 times. Not because it was cruel, but because it was honest. It reflected the reality so many people live but never say out loud. Giving your all to people who only give you pieces. And somehow, through all of it, Marcus never broke character. He never tried to correct the narrative. Never tried to outshine the grief. He simply posted another photo, this time of a bookshelf. KD's favorite book turned open to a page she'd dog-eared years ago. The quote read, "Love, in the end, is not about being remembered. It's about how quietly you stayed when no one was watching." That was it. Another mic drop. Not with words, but with presence. And that's what made this entire story so devastating. Because KD never asked for credit. She never demanded closure. She never even asked to be remembered. She just wanted peace. And somehow, in trying to give it to herself, she left behind a storm of emotion that none of us were ready for. Her love letter became a viral post. Her flash drive became a cultural reset. Her silence became louder than anyone's screams. And through it all, she never pointed fingers. She never blamed, she never weaponized her pain. Instead, she gave everyone involved, Jock, Marcus, even her fans, a mirror. A reflection of how we love, how we wait, how we forgive, and how we break. She became a symbol not of heartbreak, but of honesty. The kind of honesty that doesn't trend until it's too late. The kind that makes you reread old messages and wonder if you missed your moment. And now, we're left with questions that have no easy answers. Was Jock the great love of her life? Or was he just the loudest heartbreak? Did Marcus truly give her peace? Or was she just tired of waiting for someone else to try? Did she die with regret? Or did she finally find peace in the silence? And most of all, who really deserved her? The man who caused the pain? Or the man who held her through it? Because this isn't just about KD anymore. This story became a lens for all of us. The woman who loved too deeply. The man who changed too late. The quiet one who never left but was never chosen. And in that triangle, there's a version of every one of us. Maybe you're KD, writing letters no one will read until you're gone. Maybe you're Jock, finally understanding what you had when it's already too late. Or maybe you're Marcus, steady, patient, waiting with love that never needed a stage. In the end, there was no press release, no show reunion, no tell-all interview, just a voicemail, discovered weeks later. Left on Marcus's phone by KD 2 weeks before she passed. She said, "If you see Jock, tell him thank you for loving me, even when he didn't know how. And tell him I never stopped." 10 seconds. One voice. One final truth. And just like that, every theory, every debate, every argument, unraveled. Because love, even messy, even unspoken, even unfinished, still love. And maybe the real story isn't who she chose. It's that she chose to leave behind a legacy that asked the rest of us to stop waiting, start speaking, and finally say what we mean before the letter gets sealed. Asterisk. So now that you've heard it, all the sealed letter, the forgotten wedding dress, the love split between chaos and calm, let me ask you something real. How many of you are still holding on to words you never said? How many of you are waiting for a sign, a moment, a perfect time that may never come? KD waited. Jock wandered. Marcus stayed silent. And in the end, none of them got the closure they deserved. So before you close this video, ask yourself, are you going to keep waiting for someone to choose you? Or are you going to finally choose yourself? Drop a comment right now. Tell us, have you ever loved someone in silence? Have you ever walked away without answers? Or worse, are you still waiting for a letter that might never come? Speak your truth, because someone out there is listening. And if this story cracked something open in your chest, Bevan, just a little, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because when Jock's album Black Envelope drops, we're coming back with the full lyric breakdown, emotion by emotion, track by track. This isn't just KD's story anymore, it's all of ours. And it's time we start telling it.